up. I'm a little louder than that microphone. Can you hear me now? Dear members and guests, on behalf of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce, I offer each and every one of you a warm welcome to our 70th annual dinner. Before I turn the program over to our Masters of Ceremonies this evening, I would like to call your attention to the dedication of our annual program this year. In the middle of your booklets, pages 12 and 13, you will find our dedication to Daigle Funeral Home. Here is just a little history of the funeral home's past. In 1940, cousins Dave and Gerard Daigle purchased Michelle Pelletier's funeral home located where former Miller's is today. In 1945, it burnt to the ground. The Daigle cousins decided they would rebuild. Ernie Charette was their main contractor. Years later, Gerard passed away and Dave took over. He sent his son John to embalming school with the intention of him taking over the family business. Once John returned, he then began running Daigle and Daigle Funeral Home and expanded, opening a funeral home in St. Francis and Eagle Lake. This was when funeral directors and embalmers doubled as ambulance owners and drivers. In 1975, John merged with Barney Netto, who ran the other funeral home in town. The name was changed to Daigle and Netto Funeral Home. Years later, John's son Tom took over and it was named Daigle Funeral Home Valley Cremation Services. In September of 2017, Elijah Lajoie purchased what is now Lajoie Daigle Funeral Home, continuing a long heritage of caring and compassionate service to the community. At this time, I am pleased to introduce Travis Duval from United Insurance and our very own board member, Jen Daigle, our Masters of Ceremonies for this evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Travis.
And I'm Jen, and we'll be your Masters of Ceremonies for the evening. Welcome to the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce 70th Annual Dinner Meeting. Tonight we celebrate another successful year of service by your Chamber of Commerce to the communities of the Upper St. John Valley.
For many years now, Dan Chassie's held this position, and he's done it by himself. Apparently, Dan has done such a great job that now we need two people to take his place. I came up with that all by myself. This is just a great evening. I've been attending it for 10 years since I've been a part of United Insurance. And I just wanted to take a minute to say, take a moment and some time to look around and see the people that are next to you. Some of the people that are next to you are from Fort Kent, some of them are from other communities. And as we all come here together tonight to celebrate essentially what put Fort Kent on the map, what put St. John Valley on the map, let's just take a little bit of time to be proud of that. And while you're here, take the time to talk to a neighbor, take the time, whether it be a competitor or somebody from outside of Fort Kent, and shake their hand, do a little bit of networking, because at the end of the day, the more that we can network and the more that we can share common ideas and common goals, the more that Fort Kent, the St. John Valley, and the surrounding communities will continue to stand out. We've done a good job of becoming, Fort Kent's become the town that could, or known as the little town that could, and I think it goes beyond that. Our work ethic goes beyond just a little town and into the St. John Valley. So do what you can tonight to network, get to know each other. If you don't know each other, if you're competitors, shake hands. At the end of the day, I think we're all here for a common purpose, and and that's to make sure that this town and this area succeeds. Ladies and gentlemen, please take a moment as Jan Ryu sings the U.S. National Anthem, followed by, tonight it'll only be the U.S. National Anthem, my apologies. We had big plans, but got cut short. Nothing that put me on the spot.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And then you'll do Thank you, Jane. We now call upon Father Jean-Paul Labrie to deliver the invocation.
I'm going to invite you to bow your heads and open your hearts in prayer. Lord God, you are the light for our lives that gives us the ability to be a light for one another and encouragement to support at all times. Rest your blessings and your peace upon all of us who are here, and ask that your spirit of fraternal support and encouragement might truly work among us and within us here at all times. Bless the food that we are to share and the conversations that we have with one another. And as we strengthen the bonds of affection and also devotion with you and with one another, may we be made strong in all that is necessary, that we in turn, like you, might be a light for our communities and our loved ones. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Father Labrie. In a few moments, the National Honor Society students from the Fort Kent Community High School will assist with appointing tables in order for you to serve yourselves and enjoy the wonderful dinner that has been tastefully prepared by Sodexo. As these members of the National Honor Society come and greet you, please take a moment to introduce yourselves to them so that they can better get to know their community as they are the future. We're pleased to have a number of distinguished guests joining us this evening. It is my pleasure to ask the following people to please stand and be recognized. First is the 2017 Board of Directors. Connie Ouellette, President. Norma Landry, Past President. Darnell Oliver, First Vice President. Denise Plord, Second Vice President. Steve Shabbat, Treasurer. Tammy Albert. Andrew Burden. My co-master of ceremonies, Jennifer Daigle. Courtney Depre. Karen Depre. Don Guimond. Ali Pelletier. Megan Plord. Natasha Plord. Susan Tardy. Zachary Vrzin. And Donna Saucier, Executive Director.
Joined this evening by a number of other individuals who have had a significant impact on the evolution of the Chamber of Commerce. I would like to ask all of the past presidents of the Chamber that are in attendance to please stand and be recognized. It is also my pleasure to acknowledge another group of distinguished men and women. With the past Fort Kent Citizens of the Year joining us this evening, please stand and be recognized. Other distinguished guests, please stand and be recognized. Mr. Don Guimond, Fort Kent Town Manager. Representative John Martin, Maine House District 151. Ms. Barbara Hazlett from Senator Angus King's office. Kim Ron from Representative Bruce Polikin's office. And Senator Troy Jackson. At this time, I ask Board Member Denise Plord to please come forward and introduce our guest speaker this evening.
Good evening. Matthew McCadden is the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of MMG Insurance. He joined the company in 2001 as Marketing Director and previously held the position of Senior Vice President of External Operations. Prior to joining MMG, Matt was Vice President and Relationship Manager with KeyBank's Corporate Banking Division. Matt holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration and Finance from the University of Maine Business School. Matt is a member of the University of Maine Foundation. He is also a member of the Advisory Board for the Maine Center for Graduate Professional Studies and a board member of the Heuristic Partnership. He is an immediate past chair and member of the University of Maine Business School Advisory Board and past president and board member of the Central Heuristic Association. Matt is the past president and member of the Presque Isle Rotary Club. Matt is a Rotary International Paul Harris Fellow and a recipient of the NAMIC Merit Award, and was named to the 2010 Maine Biz Next List, an award presented annually to 10 individuals recognized as being influential in the future of Maine's economy. Matt and his wife Kelly reside in Mapleton with their 2 daughters. It is my honor to introduce to you Matt McCadden.
Thank you for that introduction, Denise. I'm honored to be here. I'd like to start out in something I wasn't planning to do, but I feel like I need to tell a funny story about the first time I met Travis Duval. He was a senior at University of Maine, and he was out looking for a job. And Scott Kent had arranged for him to come see me. And I think Scott threatened his life. You're going to go see him, you got to, be formal, have all kinds of good questions to ask. So he was nervous. So he comes in to see me, our executive assistant brings him in, and allegedly, the first thing I said to him, now mind you, he's quite nervous at this point, "Wow, you're overdressed." I don't remember that at all, Travis, but apparently it happened. You'll get the last word tonight, I'm sure. As I was preparing for tonight, I reflected on my connections to the Valley and some really great memories. My bio doesn't say it, but I grew up in the suburbs of the St. John Valley in Ashland. I think we should start a petition to include everything from Masardis North on Route 11 into the St. John Valley. I can say that with a lot of confidence because my best friends from Ashland all had family in Fort Kent, Allagash, and St. Francis. There was a lot of influence there. As Denise said, from 1990 to 2001, I was a commercial lender for KeyBank. This was one of my territories, and I had a lot of great clients up here. As a side note, I was reflecting on the way up, and some of the first people I ran into were Steve and Terry Terrio. And I remember in Austin, when he was probably 6 years old, I had a meeting with them when I was at KeyBank at their home, when it was their new home back then, which is a long time ago. And I remember back then he was very well-mannered, but boy, he was fast. It was like, you ever see the movie The Incredibles, like Dash? He was like really quick, but he was the most polite. And it was like, we should have known just then and there that he would have the success that he had. And you know what? I was thinking about that, and every time I see him on the news, I hope our young people are taking note of Austin's accomplishments. It's a great example of no matter what you do in life, you can compete with anyone if you work hard and believe in yourself. And I think a lot of our kids coming out of Aroostook County don't think that they can compete, and they certainly can. In many instances, they're that much better. So we're really proud of him. My youngest daughter's played a ton of soccer with Jenna Duval, with Jordan Clavette and Noah Martin. She's a sophomore at Presque Isle and a member of the Wildcats. By the way, congrats to the Warriors for your big win in the Northern Maine Championship. We did it as well. Mike Martin and I were texting back and forth highlights from the game. And we play Fort Kent as Presque Isle. It's always a battle, always a battle. And I think it's due to having the loudest and most knowledgeable soccer fans. Every time we come up here, we know it's going to be a fight. So congratulations on that, and it's great to see the county teams that have had such success in soccer, and I think we're going to have some good ones again next year. I'm very passionate about the future of the county. Level with you, I've had opportunities over the years to leave. About 18 years ago, I made a commitment to stay. I was driven by what I have benefited in my upbringing and a commitment to pay it forward. I have great friends and family. I've been blessed to raise my daughters in a place where it is safe. They had teachers who cared, and they learned the importance of humility, community pride, and hard work. Your theme tonight of "We're all in this together" has never been more relevant for Aroostook County. I'm active in a leadership group, as Denise said, the Aroostook Partnership, that's been working to improve things here in Aroostook County. It all comes down to a relatively simple solution. We've got to work together and find ways to influence at a higher level. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time tonight rehashing what's been our problem. I think if I went down to the Swamp Buck right now and picked a random person from a table and said, okay, what's our problem in Aroostook County? I bet he or she could be pretty accurate on what's going on. It's the drop in population, lack of opportunity, losing our young people. We've heard that over and over again. But my point tonight is that we need to stop talking about that problem and focus on making stuff happen to solve it. So accordingly, I'd like to talk about two areas this evening. First, an overview of MMG, a few of our initiatives, and why we are based in the county, which I think is important. And second, some of my suggestions of what I feel each and every one of you and one of us throughout the county should do to sustain our way of life and reverse the trends of the last 30 years. So we'll start with MMG. We were founded in 1897 in Holton and moved to Presque Isle in the early 1900s. We're proud to say that Aroostook County remains our headquarters some 100 years later. I was talking to Jim Thibodeau earlier. Of course, Jim was a principal of the United Insurance, which is one of our longest and largest agency relationships. His father, Omer, was on our board for 50 years and was the chairman of our board for 25. And he was very influential in the foundational elements of what we've accomplished today. He's a great man. So this year we're projected to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 million in revenue. We service about 200,000 policies through 200 independent agents and 500 locations across Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. And one of the interesting things is only about 4% of our revenue is generated in Aroostook County. So you could say we're an exporter of insurance. Our employees live as far north as Grand Isle and as far south as Holton and pretty much every community in between. We also have regional offices in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and Concord, New Hampshire. A couple interesting facts about us. We're driven as much by data and technology now as we are about selling insurance. One really drives the other, and I'm sure it's the case in all of our businesses here. But what's interesting is a majority of our technology is built in-house by county people, which is amazing. Websites, all the server maintenance, everything else. It's important to know we could be anywhere as a company. The primary reason we're in the county is because of the strength, the work ethic, and commitment of Aroostook County people. Unfortunately, our policyholders have bad things happen. That's why they buy insurance. We need our people to be at their best on our policyholders' worst day. Empathy is natural for those from the county and a competitive advantage for MMG, and we hear it a lot. When we first started expanding into the Mid-Atlantic, which is about 10 years ago, we were somewhat concerned that agents and potential customers down there would think that a small company in the far reaches of northern Maine looking to write business might not be a serious enterprise. We almost apologized at first about being from Maine, because we're going down into areas like Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Richmond, Virginia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, big areas. What we found was surprising. Maine has a very distinct brand as a state outside of here. It's almost a mystical place defined by honesty, hard work, and trust, which, by the way, is pretty good for an insurance company coming into a marketplace. And we heard that over and over again. And I got to tell you, we stopped downplaying Maine, and we really started to emphasize it in every visit that we had. We also bring many people into the county for meetings and contract work. Our visitors include reinsurers from all over the world, technical experts from India, visits by our agents from all 5 states. I got to tell you, they are all blown away by the hospitality and quality of what we have to offer. I've got a few agents coming up next week. We're going to do some snowmobiling, and they're going to be seriously mad if we don't end up at the Lakeview or the Sporting Club at some point along the way. I tell you, we go to London every year for our reinsurance program. We have London brokers ask us, how's the food been at the Sporting Club? It's pretty amazing, so I guess you never know who's going to show up. The bottom line is we never apologize about being based here, and we compete every day against multi-billion-dollar companies. Our president and CEO, Larry Shaw, often comments that he looks forward to those battles given the quality and the commitment of our people. MMG's issues with workforce, as you can imagine, are similar to the remainder of the county. It's even more pronounced in the industry of insurance nationwide. It's projected that in the next 10 years, about half of our industry will retire, which is pretty scary. In 2013, we did a major workforce analysis. What we found was concerning, to be honest with you. The analysis yielded a corporate initiative to get serious about talent development, or we were going to be in trouble. As a result, we've moved the millennial share of our workforce, those born after 1980, from 22% of our workforce in 2013 to 35% today. Those retiring in 10 years or less is estimated about 20%. And more importantly, it's holding stable due to the succession plans that we have in place across the operation. Now, I would tell you that any of you want to talk about the initiatives that we've done, the things that we've explored, the research we've done in regard to do that, our door is open. Anybody who wants to come and get information, we're glad to help any business in the county that's facing the same challenges that we are. As a region, we definitely have big problems. The fixes are complicated with nothing easy. And really, it comes back to each of us in this room. I tend to be okay, what are we going to do about it kind of person. I know enough about many of you in this room that you're the same way. So I want to offer 5 thoughts that I feel will contribute to solutions that each of you can do. Some may seem odd at first. They'll think them over on the way home. Number 1, buy a car from Steve Pelletier. This advertisement was paid for by Pelletier Ford. No, it wasn't. Just as a matter of disclosure, Pell & Pell were a top client of mine when I was at KeyBank in my banker days, with the exception of when Keith and Steve took me on a job site somewhere on the Michaud Farm Road. I don't know where it was, dressed like this. So I'm walking up a twitch trail, dressed like this with a black top coat on. The skidder operator's coming out. He took like 5 takes, like, what are you doing in the middle of the woods dressed this way? I think they were playing a major joke on me. But buying a car from Steve Pelletier, to be serious about this, local businesses are our backbone. They keep money in the county's economy. They give to the Little League. They provide good jobs that have their employees' best interests in mind. Every time you buy local, it's like buying stock in Aroostook County. And we all need to keep that in mind. It's really important to keep as much money as we can in Aroostook County. So buy a car from Steve Pelletier. Or a snowmobile from Frank. Okay, the next one. I've tried this one out on a few people, and it seems to have an impact. I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here. We need to act more like our grandmothers, or our mames. The county and the world needs their style more than ever. My grandmother was not from the St. John Valley. She was second generation from the Miramichi. She was born in 1921. She lived her entire life in Masardis. She believed in family and God. She was straightforward, and she never wasted anything. She died 20 years ago, and I still hear her today, as recently as about a week ago. This is one of the conversations that we still have. I'll get out of my car in the morning. Typically, I'm one of the first people to arrive at our company. And if there's a piece of trash in the parking lot, I can hear her in the back of my head saying, "Pick that up." And my first response is, I'm number 2 guy in the company. Somebody else is going to come along and pick it up. And then I'm like, no, you got to pick it up. And I get the weirdest looks when I'm walking in with, like 3 or 4 soda cans and a McDonald's bag. But I got to tell you, there's not much trash around our operation, and our building is spotless. And I think when you lead by example, and when you go out of your way, it's really, really important. The thing about it is, as a society, we're slipping here. And it's an advantage in the county we can't let go of. We need this straight talk, high expectations, and unconditional support, especially with our youth. I can tell you that me at 18 wasn't pretty. I had people who believed in me and chewed me out when I needed it. We have to hold our youth and each other accountable. How do you do that? Channel your inner mame. So what am I doing? And it's funny, I've tried this out on a number of people, and I get the same reaction every time. They made me laugh at first, and they start thinking, like, yeah, I can definitely identify with that one. Well, what am I doing? I'm trying to be more straightforward in my leadership role. We've kind of succumbed ourselves at times that everybody gets a trophy. That's not the way the real world works, and certainly not the way the competitive business world works. Try to lead by example, communicate in person, and be willing to invest time with tough conversations. As a sideline, I think it's easy to quickly dismiss those that are not as fortunate as all of us are. We have an obligation to understand and find creative ways to reverse those trends too. So we all need to act a little bit more like our grandmothers. I think it would be a better place, and continue to uphold the traditions and the values that have made Aroostook County strong. So another one, this is personally for each of you, to get more involved with our high schools, colleges, universities, though I think the partnership you have with UMFK is well underway. My original one was that everybody in this room had to hug President Short before they left tonight, but I was kind of worried about that, what that might seem like. But I was trying to do the old embrace metaphor. I thought somebody might take it seriously and you'd have a problem. But the bottom line is we have to embrace our schools, colleges, and universities as workforce generators. I also feel we need to start much earlier in the elementary and high schools about what the opportunities are in Aroostook County. And we had a meeting the other day at the Aroostook Partnership, and we were talking about the demographic challenge, the fact that we have a big bubble of workforce that's over the age of 50, and the group coming in behind is not nearly as big. And I sarcastically said, which nobody got my sarcasm, wouldn't it be great if we had a institution in Aroostook County where young people would come in and they would be enlightened and they would be trained and they would come from all over, and people were looking at me like, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, wouldn't it be great if we had a place that would attract people and generate the talent that we need for the future? And then finally I'm like, I'm talking about the University of Maine at Presque Isle, and we have to get closer to the university and make sure that we're trying to retain those individuals, and as well making them the best that they can be. I'm very focused here for a couple of reasons. First, we desperately need the workforce. The number of jobs open is going to continue to accelerate. The median age in Aroostook County is 48. And second, they need to be work ready when they graduate. And that's an issue right now. They're not always ready, unfortunately. So each of us need to get involved in intern programs, speak at classes, mentor students, let them job shadow, and help curriculum evolve to meet our workforce needs. And we can't forget about the trades. We are hurting here big time in our workforce. And this is, of any area of our workforce, it's the one I'm most concerned about. We got to get more deliberate in opening experiential training. Today's youth haven't had the opportunity to drive a tractor on the farm or work with their father to fix a skidder on a Saturday. That's how we built the great workforce we have in Aroostook County, and it's not as prevalent as it was back 15, 20, 30 years ago. These family apprenticeships built the workforce we're known for, and we've gotten away from it. So we're going to look for ways to pass those skills on in creative ways. And there's quite a bit of energy happening in that area right now, and we really can't forget about the trades. It's going to be very difficult, as well as some really nice careers in the labor side of things as well. Number 4, we all need to support the consolidation of our schools and municipal services. Our infrastructure in Aroostook County was built to handle 100,000 people, and we're about 68,000 right now. We're not going to get back to 100,000 likely and won't in the future. So in order to stem the increase in property taxes and give our kids the right learning environments, it's time to embrace ideas that are aggressive. And I know that's being done up here as well. I've been involved in a few of those things. It's going to be painful, but so is death by 1,000 cuts. We've got to focus on opportunity and be willing to compromise. It won't be easy. At the same time, though, I think it's important to know we've got to envision the future. Simply playing defense is not the solution. In other words, we can't cost cut our way to prosperity either. So we've got to take those savings, take those opportunities to reinvest in ways that we can grow our economy. And there's a lot of creative things going on and a lot of talk going on. It's good to see. We just need to accelerate it. Number 5, I want everybody in this room to tell everyone you meet from outside the county how bad things are here and what a terrible place this is to live. Of course, I mean the opposite. A mentor of mine has a great saying he lives by, which is words matter. If we don't start believing in ourselves and changing the message, no one else will. It's so easy to talk about bad news. Just to give you an example, MMG a couple of years ago had some major retirements, and we were recruiting individuals to come in from the outside and work for the company. So we've hired new leadership. These are executives from Northern Virginia, Ohio, and Illinois. We started the search by focusing on people we knew would be a good match for our way of life, and certainly our company. All have young families and like what rural life has to offer. Ultimately, they were sold by MMG's culture, the sense of community and quality of our schools. They could get a job anywhere, by the way, anywhere. Here are some of the quotes from them. I gathered up a few that I've heard both in the recruiting process and since they've come to work at the company. Your schools are so progressive in thought process. If I was to get an education like this in Northern Virginia, I would have to send my kids to private school. It's pretty good. My commute time is 10 minutes. I was driving an hour both ways previously. This is a good one. I can't believe people I don't know say hi to me in Walmart. It's funny, we had a candidate in, we ended up hiring him, he was from Ohio, and we were having lunch in Fort Fairfield. And he has kind of a southern accent, a little bit of a southern accent, and there was a couple of ladies sitting behind us, and literally they paid their bill and they came over and they said, "You don't sound like you're from around here. Let me introduce myself." And he was like blown away. It was kind of freaky for him a little bit, but he said that would never happen where I'm from. That would never happen where I'm from, and people care. Another one, there's some cool things just across the border. Everybody that we brought in from the outside has spent time in Edmundston and Grand Falls, and they love it. And you know, from our standpoint, we kind of think that the world maybe ends at the border, at least in Central Aroostook. I know not as much up here. Here's another one. I can pay a small fee and enter a wilderness where I can hunt, fish, hike with little or no restriction. Are you sure? I mean, you think about that. You go to the gate and you pay your whatever, $15 or $20 day fee, and you can go in and do pretty much whatever you want and access all that land. That's blown them away as well. The last one. Wait a minute. A house lot is more than a quarter acre? And it costs how much? You know, that's another thing. One of the individuals that we brought in from outside, he's going to build a house, and he thought he could just get this little half acre for, you know, $75,000 or something ridiculous like that. And he loves it. He's going to buy 10 acres and actually do a little bit of farming at the same time. So the bottom line is get informed about what is going on. We got to stress our strengths. Don't sugarcoat the weaknesses. Thank God I told them it was cold here in the wintertime, because this winter has been awful. I go check them in their office every morning to make sure they're still hanging around after that 10-day stretch, the end of December and the 1st of January. But we got to spread the word. We got to spread the word. This is a great place to live with great people, great quality of life. And if we don't promote what we've got going for us in a positive way, nobody else will. Bonus one, stay active in this chamber and get your people involved in the community. We collaborate better than anyone here in Aroostook County, and community is our #1 asset. We are known for it throughout Maine, by the way. People can't believe how we collaborate and how we get together on things. I gotta tell you though, I've seen involvement cool with our youth, and it troubles me. I'm encouraging it actively with the young leaders at MMG and anything I can do in the community of Central Aroostook County. They have to be involved in continuing to increase this asset that we know as community. So last thing I'll leave you with, if you don't want to take account any of my suggestions, the last thing is for each and every one of us is to listen. We've got way too much rhetoric driving social agendas right now. It's not a political statement. It's a Facebook, iPhone, media overexposure society statement. If we talk less and listen more, we get some things done. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. We're proud of the St. John Valley and look forward to having you involved in moving Aroostook forward. Good night.
Now we're going to ask that you please stand back up. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation that you've given us. Jen would like to give you a token of appreciation on behalf of the Fort Kent Chamber of Commerce.
You can say the last word about that.
I thought about it. Just to, Matt gave me the permission, so just to reiterate the story that he told at the beginning. So what happened was I kept knocking on the door at Thibodeau's Insurance asking for a job. And every time Scott Kent would tell me to go home. And this happened for years. And finally he told me one day when I walked in, I got you an interview. And I said, that's great, thank you so much. Where's my interview? MMG Insurance, go see them on this date at this time, be there, wear a suit, have a binder, have a proposal, have everything together. I'm like, holy man, you really stepped outside the bubble and helped me out. I thought he did. So the day comes and I'm driving, I'm a little bit late and I'm speeding and I'm like, oh my God, this is my only job interview. I'm blowing my opportunity to have this. And anyway, I show up right on time, get taken in by the assistant, and I literally show up at the door and Matt kind of looks at me with a tilted head and like, he says, geez, you're really dressed for this occasion. And I'm like, I am? And he goes, yeah. I said, so this isn't really an interview, is it? And he goes, no. He says, Scott just asked me to talk to you for half an hour. So we talked for half an hour and I left with my tail between my legs. And when I got back home, Scott had no choice. He had to hire me. So without further ado, at this time, I would ask you all to turn to page 6 of your annual report for the 70th annual meeting of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce. To conduct the meeting, I call upon the 2007 Chamber President, Connie Ouellette. Is there a volume that we can get here?
At this time, I would call upon our, sorry, where am I? Oh, okay. Yes, I know. Board members, can I please have you come forward? I found what I was supposed to say. It's at this time I would call upon our executive director and fellow board of directors to join me in front so that we may present our annual report. Greenhorn here. Everybody find a place? Members of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce, as your president, I call the 70th annual meeting to order. Let me remind all members that this is a membership meeting. Therefore, all representatives of a member business and associate members of the chamber, along with the chamber board of directors, are eligible to move an agenda item and have full voting rights. The second item before us this evening is approval of the agenda on page 6 of your annual report. At this time, I will entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Do I have a motion? Jim Thibodeau is first. Do I have a second? Doug? The approval of the agenda has been moved and seconded. I will now call for a vote. All in favor of passage of the agenda, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carried. Item 3 on our agenda is approval of the meeting minutes. To present those, I call upon our Executive Director, Donna Saucier.
I'm pleased to present for consideration to the membership of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce the minutes of the 69th annual meeting of the Chamber held at the University of Maine at Fort Kent Sports Complex on Friday, February 3, 2017. The minutes of said meeting can be found on page 7 of your annual report. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. I will now entertain a motion to accept, as presented, the meeting minutes of the 69th annual membership meeting of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce. Do I have a first? Kevin? And a second? Travis, thank you. Approval of the meeting of minutes has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Motion carried. The fourth item on our annual meeting agenda is approval of the treasurer's report. For that, I call upon Treasurer Steve Chabot.
On behalf of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce, it is my distinct honor to present to the membership the 2017 financial report for your consideration. The report can be found on pages 8 through 10 of your annual report. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. At this time, I will entertain a motion to accept, as presented by the treasurer, Stephen Chabot, the annual fiscal report for the year 2017. I have a first. Do I have a second? Terry? Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to accept the treasurer's report for 2017. All in favor? Motion carried. The fifth item on our agenda is approval of the proposed amendments to the bylaws. For that, I call upon First Vice President Darnell Oliver.
On behalf of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to present for your consideration proposed amendments to the bylaws. The changes include an update to the timeline of these annual meetings, some grammatical changes, and clarification of discrepancies in the structure of the Board of Directors and the communities we serve. Each member's contact person who received the invitation for the dinner and is on the Chamber's email distribution list was invited to review the proposed amendments changes prior to this meeting.
Thank you, Darnell. I will now entertain a motion to accept as presented the proposed changes to the bylaws. Do I have a first? Angela? And do I have a second? Jason? It has been moved and seconded to accept the proposed changes to the bylaws. All in favor? Motion carried. The next item on our agenda is election of the 2018 nominated Board of Directors. For that, I call upon Director Don Guimond.
I'm not real good at following scripts, so for a brief second, I'm going to pick on Travis a little bit. Time flies by. I recall Travis working on the summer programs in our rec and park department, and now he's the moderator of our annual town meeting. So Matt hit it on the nose. The youth of our community are our future, and we need to get them further engaged. And now I'll follow script. I didn't tell any bad stories. On behalf of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce, it is my pleasure to nominate the following individuals for election to the Board of Directors. I ask that you please stand as your name is called and remain standing until the vote is taken. For 3-year terms beginning in February of this year. Andrew Burden, representing Fiddlehead Focus, St. John Valley Times. This is Andrew's second term. Denise Corriveau, representing Corriveau's Hilltop Blossoms. This is Denise's first term. Courtney Depre, representing Northern Maine Medical Center. This is Courtney's first term. His second term, right?
No, first.
First term. Oh, she completed somebody else's term, and now it's got a full term. Tammy Lerman, representing Long Lake Motoring. This is Tammy's first term. Darnell Oliver, representing Jeans Electronics. This is Darnell's first term. He always picks on me, but I'm not going to pick on him. Connie Ouellette, representing Katahdin Trust. This is Connie's second term. Councilor Jake Rubshaw, soon to be former Councilor Jake Rubshaw, representing Jake's Cleaning Service. This is Jake's first term. Nikki Shields, representing Nikki Shields Farm Family Insurance Agency. This is Nikki's first term. And Mike Wazin, representing Lonesome Pine Trails and the Fort Kent Golf Club. This is Mike's first term. These are the candidates for election to the Board of Directors.
Thank you, Don. The proposed candidates for election to the Board of Directors have been presented. Can I have a first? Norma? Can I have a second? Kevin? The candidates have been moved and seconded. All in favor? Congratulations.
Kevin, does Connie always pick on you?
When I'm nervous, I forget names.
Congratulations to all of the new board members. It is now my pleasure to present for consideration of the membership of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce the proposed slate of officers for this year. Will the candidates please stand as your name is called and remain standing through the election? Connie Ouellette, President. She's already standing. Darnell Oliver, First Vice President. Courtney Depre, Second Vice President. And Steve Chabot, Treasurer. These are the candidates for election to the Executive Board of the Chamber.
Thank you, Don. I will now entertain a motion to accept the slate of officers as presented. A first?
Kevin.
Mackenzie? A second? Norma? The slate of officers has been moved. All in favor? Motion carried. Congratulations. The final business before us at our membership meeting this evening is adjournment. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Dawn. And a second from Norma. Thank you. All in favor? We stand adjourned. At this time, the board members may return to their seats. I'll just stay right here.
It is incumbent upon the President of the Chamber to report to the membership on the organization's most recent year of service. It is my pleasure to call upon Connie Ouellette to deliver her State of the Chamber address.
Thank you. Thank you, Travis. Phew. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending tonight. Once again, we had a sold-out crowd. We actually sold 20 more tickets than last year. So it was a great event. It truly means a lot to the Board of Directors to have such supported and dedicated people supporting our chamber and its mission. First of all, I would like to thank the people who helped make this evening possible. Our annual dinner committee, AKA the A-Team, Denise Plord, Jen Daigle, Courtney Depre, Karen Depre, and Donna Saucier. Without them, I wouldn't have been successful this evening at all. So let's give them a hand. "2017 was again a very busy and productive year for the Chamber. This year, we completed our destination guide. This booklet is a visitor's guide paid for and supported through the ads from local and surrounding area chamber businesses. This booklet is jam-packed with information about our area and is what we have to offer tourists visiting the area. Not only is this guide available at key rest stops along Maine's I-95, it's also accessible through our website with hyperlinks for all the ads. This guide is also mailed out from our office by request to all four corners of the country, as well as sent to various trade shows throughout New England featuring Maine tourism. This was a huge undertaking for the committee tasked with the project, and they did an excellent job. If you haven't had a chance to see one, you should. It's a really gorgeous book. Our annual Ploy Festival is a wonderful event. The craft and vendor fair at the pavilion is always well attended. Of course, the making of the big ploy is always a hit. The Scarecrow Festival and Parade were a lot of fun this year, with excellent participation. We had great weather. I'm always in awe of the amazing floats entered every year. We again would like to congratulate our business decorating contest winners. First place went to Main Street Style, second place went to Main Street Associates, and third place to Dr. Ryu's practice. Thank you to everyone who decorated their business and added to the spirit of the festival. The annual Holiday Craft Fair, our biggest event of the year, was once again a great success, with positive feedback from the crafters as well as the public. Our Small Business Saturday event is also growing in popularity, and we were able to add a few more businesses to our coupon book this year. The Fort Kent Christmas tree lighting ceremony is always a treat for the kids, and they love getting that gift from Santa and Mrs. Claus. Each of these events bring in visitors to our communities and encourage patronization of our local establishments. Our local member businesses continue to hold their own in these uncertain economic times, partially because of those who believe that supporting a locally owned business strengthens the community and its economic base. As Donna, our chamber director, states in our latest press release for this event, we are a strong and resilient region because our communities understand that we achieve more by working together. She hears that a lot in her chamber visitor center. When tourists stop in, they're always amazed at how the people of this region step up and get things done. Well, that, and how friendly and helpful people are. It makes them want to come back again, and in some cases, consider moving to the area. The theme for this evening truly represents this. We're all in this together. I have found myself saying that very statement to fellow board members, people at work, and in the community. And I found others saying it as well. When we start to feel overwhelmed by everything going on around us, we just need to remind ourselves that we're not alone, and we'll get through whatever's happening together. As I take on a new year as 2018's Chamber President, our organization will also continue to try to better understand what the needs and concerns are in relation to our mission, and explore on how we can continue to improve and build upon what we are already doing. We have a great board, and I look forward to working with our new directors voted in tonight. Our board of directors are a representation of our local organizations and communities. They are a very dedicated, hard-working group of individuals that volunteer their time to manage chamber operations and make sure the events we put on are a success. With that being said, your continued membership remains a true vital component to the success of this organization's overall mission. We sincerely appreciate your membership in 2017. Your investment in the Greater Fort Kent Chamber means that we can continue our mission in the Upper St. John Valley to promote and advance a healthy business environment through tourism, economic vitality, and community development. Should you ever need to discuss chamber matters, please do not hesitate to contact Donna at the chamber office or any of our board members. We aren't able to deal with issues we don't know about, so please continue to communicate with us. Also, let us know about any of your business events you are planning so we can help you promote them. Help us help you. I and my fellow board members look forward to serving you throughout 2018 and again celebrating our successes with you next year at this time. Thank you. At this time, I will present awards given to outgoing board members with 6 or more years of service to the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce. I truly enjoyed serving with this next dedicated board member. We've spent some time together the past few years volunteering at the chamber table during Can-Am and the Ploy Festival. She's soft-spoken, but her perspective has always been appreciated on this board. Thank you, Tammy Albert, for your time and dedication while serving on this board for the past 6 years. Tammy, please come forward and accept this award. You sat all the way in the back.
Thank you.
And I want to read your plaque. Her plaque states her 2017 Director of Service Appreciation Award presented to Tammy Albert, her dedicated and outstanding service for the past 6 years toward the betterment of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
Thank you. This next award, this little Spitfire is going to be missed. A true team player who has answered my SOS calls more than once, as well as many others on this board. From budgets to craft fair, she's surely been an asset to this board. It's not easy volunteering your time while trying to raise a young family, and I know I'm extremely grateful for her dedication to this board for the past 6 years. Thank you, Allie Pelletier. Please come forward. And Allie's is the same wording for her dedicated and outstanding service for the past 6 years towards the betterment of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce. And please don't change your number, Allie, because you might get a few more SOS calls before the year's up. Thanks, Allie. This person's love and dedication to this community is truly remarkable. She has always emphasized the importance of our businesses to both the community and the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce, ensuring they were the forefront of all decision making. Her energy and devotion as past president and board member truly show the dedication that she has for this community. Her friendship and support have been very important to all of us throughout the past 6 years. Norma, we thank you for your countless hours put in attending meetings and volunteering at events. We wish you the very best in all your future endeavors. Norma, please come forward. Thank you. And as well, Norma's plaque states her dedicated and outstanding service for the past 6 years towards the betterment of Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce. At this time, it's customary for the Chamber President to present the President's Award to an outstanding board member during the past year. This person is a real go-getter and has been a remarkable asset to our board. Whatever committee she's on, she always gives 110%. Even when she's the last one standing. She's a bit of a worrywart, but that's because she truly cares about everything she's involved in. Her dedication to this board and this community is a true representation of the people who so unselfishly volunteer their valuable time to serve on this board and why we are successful. Her let's rock and roll attitude is always a breath of fresh air, and I look forward to working with her again this year. This year's President Award goes to Denise Plord. And Denise's plaque states, in appreciation of your drive, determination, and dedication, thank you for your generous commitment, time, support, and inspiration to this organization. Thank you, Denise. So now we're going to move on to our 2017 Chamber Awards. First one that I'll present tonight is the Longevity Award. For almost 60 years, this business has warmed bellies from near and far. Originally named Parody's Lunch on Main Street, Doris Daigle Parody took over the management and renamed the business to Doris's Cafe and moved to its current location on Market Street. Through the years, John Parody, Doris's son, ran the diner, and 15 years ago, Doris's sister Linda Daigle took over as owner and operator. The diner has remained consistent, utilizing the same original recipes over the years that customers want and expect. Linda and her staff practice the following quote: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The pictures, frames, plaques, and mugs on the wall each have a story, and the breads, pies, and homemade specials entice the public to feel at home and have strangers enter, leaving as friends. This is quite an accomplishment, and it's obvious they have the recipe to success. It's with great pleasure we present the 2017 Longevity Award to Doris's Cafe. Congratulations, Linda and her staff. This plaque reads, 2017 Longevity Award. The Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce recognizes Doris's Cafe, established in 1958, for 59 years of delicious home-cooked meals, your drive, determination, and contribution to our community. We have two Community Betterment Awards this evening. In 1919, Congress chartered and incorporated a patriotic veterans organization committed to mentoring youth, community development, and volunteerism, patriotism, and devotion to fellow servicemen and veterans called the American Legion. In 1923, local veterans here in Fort Kent moved into a two-story building on West Main Street in Fort Kent, and the gathering place for the Martin Klein American Legion Post 133 that still exists today. If the walls of that building could talk, it would probably share many stories of the work put into keeping its doors open through the dedication of its members, of dancing and card games, laughter, tense moments, grieving and healing, good meals, and some really good times. Those same walls in the last few years have also gone through some serious major transitions. The members of the Legion took it upon themselves to raise the money needed to completely renovate their hall. The major work began in the spring of 2015, mostly through the volunteer efforts of its members. In May of this past year, a ribbon-cutting ceremony was held to celebrate the newly renovated building, a hall that stands as a testament to the dedication its members have to keeping this veterans organization thriving and the pride that they have in what they can and always have accomplished by working together for the betterment of all. It is with great honor for me to stand here tonight and present a 2017 Community Betterment Award to the American Legion Martin Klein Post 133. Their plaque reads, the Community Betterment Award for 2017 from the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce, American Legion Martin Klein Post 133, for your drive and determination in renovating the hall, allowing you to expand the quality of services to this community. There is a report that came out this past month by the Maine DEP that states that the total amount of municipal solid waste generated in Maine in 2016 was about 1,556,000 tons. Now, if I read that report correctly, about 760,000 tons, about half a ton per person, was disposed of through recycling efforts as opposed to placing in a landfill. Now, when you consider these kind of figures, you start to realize how important any recycling effort is to a community. Karen's Redemption Center was established here in Fort Kent in 2012. From that time, they've continued to expand their business to meet the recycling needs of the Upper St. John Valley. They've grown from bottle redemption to creating a place where they can recycle their steel, glass, plastic, and they'll even take your cardboard. It doesn't stop there either. They continue to look for new ways to improve upon what they do. This past year, for example, they took on a task of renovating their roof and storefront, which included new signage for the building. It's not just the aesthetics either. Andrew networks with other recycling organizations in the area on both sides of the border, exploring ways to work collaboratively with others. This past year, the core leadership team brought together a group of people who deal in waste management from throughout the Acadia of the lands and forests. As part of that, Andrew and Chuck Pelletier from Valley Recycling in Frenchville went on tours of some of the waste management facilities in parts of Quebec and New Brunswick, exchanging ideas and exploring best practice efforts. It is for these reasons this Chamber of Commerce is proud to present a Community Betterment Award to Karen's Redemption Center. Andrew and Jill, please come forward. And their plaque also reads, Community Betterment Award. The Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce recognizes Karen Redemption for the drive and determination to make your business the best it can be by renovating and expanding your range of services in our communities. Innovation Award. These folks saw a great need in our communities and ran with it. Recently celebrating their one-year anniversary, established January 1st of 2017, a facility like no other, offering a unique service to the St. John Valley. Their main objective is for you to have peace of mind when leaving your pet with them. Safety, comfort, and convenience are their primary concern while going above and beyond to be sure your pet's needs are met. They have multiple boarding areas to meet the different needs of each individual dog or cat. Proper vaccinations are required for everyone's safety and health. And we cannot forget their daily exercise, because they sure don't. Going outdoors, getting fresh air, running, and playing in a large open area is a must. Have a long day at work and don't want to leave your dog? No worries, they've got you covered. They travel 2 to 3 days per week to pick up dogs and take them to doggy daycare, giving your dog lots of attention and playtime instead of being at home alone. Along with the addition of the pet taxi and other services that have been added in their year of business is a 24-hour surveillance of the facility, cat boarding, and grooming. It's a one-stop shop. Everything you need for your dog or cat is all in one place. It's with pleasure we present the Innovation Award to Cove Corner Kennels. Have a representative please come forward. So the Innovation Award, the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce recognizes Cove Corner Kennels for recognizing a much-needed service in our community and providing a fun and safe place for our dogs to stay. The Daigle Award. Daigle. The meaning of Daigle is to direct, to lead, awarded to someone who has made a difference in the community for a long time by their leading skills. This family business began bringing us a favorite traditional staple to our tables since 1983, when potato farming in our region began to struggle. For the past 16 years, they have been an integral part of the annual Ploy Festival celebration, selflessly dedicating their time and effort to help keep our culture alive and in the St. John Valley by creating the world's largest ploy, sharing the tasty piece of our past with family, friends, and those visiting from afar. Just a few years ago, they added to their family business by opening their farm store, Bouchard's Country Store. Again, with strong focus on our heritage, they now give us access to farm fresh foods, local crafts, as well as a new favorite, Ploy ice cream sandwiches. This business has been a leader in the community by bringing back old traditions and petting zoos wagon rides, and you can expect to see an overflowing parking lot during all of these events. They have been a forerunner in keeping our traditions alive and bringing our community together. Please join us in honoring Bouchard Family Farms for the Daigle Award. Janice and Joey. And their plaque reads, "The Chamber of Commerce recognizes Bouchard Family Farms for making a difference by providing and participating in fun and safe activities for all our children and families in our communities." Now for the Small Business Award. From dirt to water and snow, this business serves the needs of local and non-resident recreational enthusiasts of all seasons. Striving to provide the best customer and retail experience possible for every customer that calls or walks in the door has been the #1 priority from the start. They have listened throughout the years and have done their best to meet the ever-changing demands of its customers. Whether finding that specific detailed seat for that newly ordered sled, answering a call after hours to go fetch a blown sled, offering a new product line, or adding items online for shopping convenience, are just to name a few. The business has tripled its workforce, employing 13 full-time residents of our communities. In addition, they have expanded their footprint by moving locations, adding an additional dealer franchise, and within the past year have made major improvements to better accommodate new office space, showroom expansion, and have more storage units for parts and accessories. 2017 proved to be a year of success as the business earned the Northeast District Ski-Doo Dealer, which consists of dealers across the states of Maine and Vermont. It is important to note that they have earned this award for the 5 previous years, proving their commitment to service and sales. On an even larger scale, they earned the Northeast Regional Ski-Doo Dealer Award, which includes the entire Northeast Coast. It is with great pleasure we present the Small Business of the Year Award to the Fort Kent Power Sports. Congratulations, Frank and his team. Small Business Award, the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce recognizes Fort Kent Power Sports for the drive, determination, and contribution to our community. This next award, we haven't given one in a while, but we thought it was a good time to bring it back. It's the Community Spirit Award. He graduated from Farley Dickinson in 1974, and with his brother built his practice from the ground up. He began serving this community in 1974. In 1980, he and his brother decided to expand to Madawaska and serve that community until 2008. In 1979, he married the love of his life, Linda, and they made their home in Soldier Pond. They had 4 children, the oldest being Danielle, 36, who still resides with them today and is a true instrument of the man he is today. Richard Jr., 35, is an endodontist and resides with his wife in Georgia. James, 33, is a general dentist like his dad and resides in Arizona. And Julie, 28, is a nurse practitioner and resides in Portland, Maine. In my teenage years, I was their babysitter. Needless to say, he is equally proud of all of them. In his spare time, he enjoys fishing, golfing, antique gun collecting, and restoring antique John Deere tractors, which he enjoys entering in local parades. He hopes to do a lot of more of these things when he retires. Someday. He is also involved in this community. He is a member of the Knights of Columbus, Lions Club, and Parish Council, as well as a key supporter of many events in this community. He's highly regarded by his employees. He keeps them entertained and laughing with his wit and dry sense of humor. He is very loved and appreciated by his almost 4,000 patients around Aroostook County, and he has given so freely to this community for the past 44 years. He has blessed us with his time, kind heart, generous donations to all who come through his life, as well as the doors of his private dental practice, supporting many people, fundraisers, benefits, organizations. He's got a soft spot for the underprivileged or those that are ill with cancer and other severe illnesses. He is truly dedicated to the people in the community he serves. It is my privilege to present Dr. Richard Raymond with the 2017 Community Spirit Award. The Community Spirit Award, the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce recognizes Dr. Richard Raymond for many years of dedication to your community and for your generosity in supporting those in need. It is now time for me to present the Member of the Year Award. The Chamber of Commerce awards one of its members with the Chamber Member of the Year Award. It's a truly important and prestigious honor. Criteria that is considered when selecting the recipient is how this member impacts our community, exhibits selflessness, and gives back to our community. This member began as a trucking construction business in 1987 by owners Richard and Betty Terrio, and as time evolved, their son, Steve, and his wife, Terry, took over the management of the business and expanded their service to include forestry, chipping, and grinding of all species of wood to wood-fired energy plants. Currently, the business provides employment to over 40 employees, including administrative support, drivers, grinders, chippers, heavy-duty equipment operators, mechanics, and supervisors. Over the years, and most recently, they have been a strong advocate for job growth and sustainability and the need for improved road infrastructure to promote transportation safety and continued commerce for our area. Their commitment to safety in the forest products industry is evident by partnering with other organizations and making their workspace available for continuing education trainings for outside employers. Last but not least, they stand firm in their generosity by being a key supporter of numerous academic, athletic, civic, and other nonprofit organizations. Their commitment and support has not gone unnoticed. I am pleased to present this year's Member of the Year Award to T&T Row Company. Congratulations.
It's truly humbling to accept this award, but I must say that without my wife, I certainly wouldn't be half the person I am, maybe a quarter. But to accept an award is definitely because of the people that work for us. We have great people that work for us. I've been listening to these people that talk tonight. We need a community to be able to even get wars like this. We have, and obviously we have a strong community. We have great people to work for, great companies. We do encourage young people to grow and to learn our trade. So I am an advocate of trying to get vocational or some kind of an opportunity to train people. You know, in our business today, everything is so expensive, technical. So anytime you have an opportunity to support or mention the need to help with our young people, be an advocate for it. Anything else?
No, it was totally unexpected. I have to tell you how Megan, I love you, Megan, but how she got me here. She said, just, I have someplace to take you. Friday night we're going to dinner. And I said, okay, where? She said, just don't wear jeans. And I said, do I need a change of underwear, my passport, and bail money? I thought, where are we going? So when we pulled into here, I thought, what? I just thought maybe it's been a while since I've been a member of the chamber, since tour of duty around 2010, 11 in, or 2000. But dedicated bunch of people, and we want to thank you for this, because all of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you all for that. I don't know, I'm just surprised. I don't know what to say. I want to thank you everybody. Thank you for the wonderful meal. Thank you for the Greater Fort Kent Chamber Area of Commerce. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I did have something inspirational now that's on my heart that I wanted to share, and it stays in suit with what's on the front here, but all of you know that Mother Teresa was a wonderful humanitarian, and she left us with a lot of lessons and teachings, and one of them that's always been close to my heart because of business, and because Steve and I always have put God at the helm, and for that, I think that's why we're 31 years later still doing what we're doing. But Mother Teresa said, we all work hard all day long, and some of us may feel that we are just, so how did I say it? I'm trying to repeat how she says it. We ourselves feel that we are just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less without the drop in the, with all of you, without the drop in the ocean. And for what I take from that is that each of us, wherever we are, in whatever job we are, each of us are a drop in that ocean. Whether it's your business or your company, you're all a drop in that ocean. So without you, the ocean would be dry and would be empty. So no matter what role you play in your companies or your businesses or your whatever work you're playing, you play an important role. You are all important. And for us, our 50 employees, we couldn't do it without them. They are why we're standing up here. And we thank you. Thank you for that.
Wow, I almost can't see over this.
I should have got you a stool.
I'd probably fall off of it. I think I might be able to do this without. No, I guess not. Steve and Terry, love you guys. You're awesome, awesome people. I was truly honored when asked to present the following award. My hope now is that I can do it justice. To help show the impact of this honoree and what this honoree has done to our chamber and its communities, I've put a little spin on this presentation. So here are the rules. No, I'm just joking, there's just one rule. If you can answer yes to any of the following questions, I ask that you stand and remain standing. It'll all make sense. If you are a current Board of Director of the Greater Chamber of Commerce, or if in the past 25 years you've served as the Director for the Chamber, please stand. You've sat around various tables for many a meeting with this honoree, who sets an example by leading, yes, but also doing by whatever needs to be done to showcase this beautiful community and encouraging people from all over to come and visit and see what we have to offer. If you have ever helped out in any way with the Can-Am dog sled races, please stand. This honoree has braved the cold right beside you, helping out in any way possible, regardless of the temperature, offering encouragement to mushers, to volunteers, shaking the hands of sponsors, and greeting the many spectators lining our streets. If you helped out in any way during the flood that devastated the town of Fort Kent in 2008, please stand. This amazing humanitarian dried the elders' tears, helped folks get their lives back in order, and mucked out debris with the best of us. If you helped out in any way during the fires that devastated downtown Fort Kent in March of 2012 and again in October of 2012, please stand up. This amazing, compassionate honoree assisted in any way possible with a heart that visibly ached so deeply for the devastation and great loss our community faced. If you currently serve on the board of the University of Maine at Fort Kent, please stand. If you currently serve on the Northern Maine Medical Center Board of Directors, please stand. If you currently serve or have served in the past 25 years as a selectman for any neighboring community to Fort Kent, are the mayor or former mayor of a community to our neighbors across the river, or if you have, or in the past 25 years or currently are on the Fort Kent Town Council, Planning Board, Budget Committee, or any other ad hoc of the Fort Kent Town, please stand. I could certainly continue with many, many more affiliations, memberships, and I'm confident that everyone in this room would be standing. But I had to remember to rein myself in and focus on what this humanitarian has done for the greater good of the Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce. Please remain standing as I ask Don Guimond to please come forward. I'm really going to be in trouble now. Because I remember he was a former wrestler and he probably wants to put me in a serious headlock right now.
There's no referees present.
If you know anything about Don, he hates recognition. But to not recognize this man and all he has provided to our chamber would be a great oversight. Don Guimond. Don't look at me like that. A man who provides guidance to many with his sage advice, sound wisdom, one that when he speaks, people truly listen. Don never wavers or compromises his beliefs for anyone or anything, and he's always strived to accomplish whatever he could for the better of the people and our communities. He's a man of high character, honesty, integrity, and he's always willing to do what's right, even if it takes him down an avenue that isn't the most popular. He's a man with extreme courage and unbelievable resources that makes him revered by his peers and always held in the highest esteem. He exemplifies confidence in the toughest of times, and regardless of his stature, he will knock on your door if you're experiencing tough times, just to check on you. A man not afraid to show his emotions. Raised on a farm, he knows hard work, and he's never shied away from it. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
A truly selfless man, a pillar of our community, an amazing historian. He remembers things that are just like, I didn't even think he was born, but
That's good.
he's the true model of civility and one who's always been a spokesperson for those without a voice and a problem solver where most would say solutions do not exist. Don, you're a phenomenal leader that the town of Fort Kent has been so fortunate to have at its helm for almost a quarter of a century. And you're an absolute invaluable major player for the Greater Fort Kent Chamber of Commerce. I know there are many times while I was president of the chamber that I'm sure I wouldn't have functioned properly if I didn't have you to sound my questions or concerns off, or just to have you say, "Voyons, Norma, ça fait pas de bon sens, ça?" And I know, like, sometimes, qu'est-ce qu'a vu cette tannante, là? And I'd say, Dawn, c'est la tannante, encore, oh, ben, come on. And I was like, yeah. You kept me in line and you kept me focused on the greater good. You always refocus people to the greater good. Before thanking you for being an amazing director of the chamber, I thank you for being an amazing human being. I'm honored to present you with the Distinguished Service Award, in appreciation for your dedication, leadership, and loyalty. You have been an inspiration to the chamber for the past 24 years. Your distinguished service is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you. Not sure what to say other than I've received more than I've given from this community and from all of you. There's no way that I could have done what I've done or achieved what we've achieved without all of you and all that you've done for this community and this region. It doesn't happen by itself. It's all you folks stepping up to the plate when need be and giving what you could, when you could. Every little bit matters. And if this community is going to have a future like it has had in the past, a tremendously successful future, all of you will need to continue to give as much as you can, when you can. It's what makes us special. And I thank you for what you've done for me. Thank you.
It is now my duty to follow that. So I'll start by thanking Norma. That was a great presentation. I'd also like to thank Connie for the great presentation, to all the other award winners tonight. She did a great job as well. And congratulations to all the award winners that are in this room. I'll cue the drum roll. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to call upon Mr. James Thibodeau to bestow the highest honor given annually to one of our citizens. To present the 2017 Citizens of the Year Award, please welcome Mr. James Thibodeau.
Good work, Travis. Good boy, good boy. That's what it's say. That's what my wife tells me once in a while. So quite an event, huh, Matt? Pretty impressive group, and congratulations again to all of the award recipients. Pretty outstanding. I was reflecting a little bit about the past Chamber of Commerce and my involvement. I looked back in the booklet, and I was president in 1979 and 1980. That's 38 years ago. Man. But back then, I think we had somewhere in the vicinity of 25 members. Our budget was somewhere in the vicinity of $4,000. And I looked at the budget today on this booklet. I think it's somewhere in the vicinity of $80,000. We've come a long, long way. And this chamber continues to thrive and continues to impress me and a lot of people from everywhere. So congratulations to everybody. One of the most contentious issues back then in 1979 and 80, I don't know if anybody here remembers the Dickey-Lincoln Dam project. Back then, the Chamber of Commerce was intimately involved in trying to take a position on that particular project. I was the president, and I said, I don't know what to do with this thing, you know. And people said, so I polled the chamber members, and surprisingly, it was about a 50-50. 50% of the members were for, and about 50% were against. So basically, we really couldn't take a political stand because half the members were for it and half were against it. Ultimately, we all know it didn't come to fruition. That's not why I'm here tonight. First of all, thank you, Travis, and the Greater Fort Kent Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity to announce the 2018 Citizen of the Year. This individual has been a long-time resident of the Greater Fort Kent area. So did I give it away already? If I did, I'll just give you the name and we'll all go home early. Seriously, this individual exemplifies the qualities of leadership, citizenship, community spirit, compassion, volunteerism, athleticism, business acumen, and family values. Quite a list, huh? This individual has volunteered for several organizations in our community. Lonesome Pine Trails, Can-Am sled dog races, IBU Biathlon World Cups, University of Maine at Fort Kent, Chamber of Commerce, and the Fort Kent Outdoor Center, to name a few. While serving as a member of the UMFK Board of Visitors, this individual was very involved in a UMFK Presidential Search Committee and the Bell Tower Project. This person volunteered in several capacities for the 10th Mountain Ski Club, which is now known as the Fort Kent Outdoor Center, including leadership roles during the IBU Biathlon World Cup events in 2004 and 2011. Any idea as to who this person might be? It's getting harder and harder to keep you in suspense. Serving on the board of directors of the Outdoor Center, this individual led the long-range planning and financial committees and participated in several fundraising and family events, including sales of sponsorship signs in the Fort Kent Outdoor Center venue. As a past board member of the Can-Am sled dog races, this person served in the early years, obtaining sponsors and participating in other fundraising activities. This person also spent countless hours developing and maintaining trails for the event. This person served as a founding member of the America's First Mile Advisory Group, which was formed to promote tourism in the area. The group was also responsible for America's First Mile Monument that is located next to the International Bridge. Are we getting closer? I see some heads turning. This person has served on several other state and county boards, including Maine Health Alliance, Aroostook Home Health and Valley Home Health Services, Aroostook County Fund of the Maine Community Foundation, Resource for Change, a domestic violence education organization, and is a member of the Sportsmen's Alliance of Maine. Let me tell you about this person's involvement in Lonesome Pine Trails. Member of the organization since its opening, 1964, 1965. Served as secretary, director, and president. Very involved in projects to upgrade the facility, which included upgrading the rope tow to a T-bar, a $100,000 project, raising money for a groomer, and the purchase and installation of snowmaking equipment. The snowmaking equipment guarantees skiing and snowboarding during the Christmas school vacation week, which is critical to have a financially successful ski and snowboard season. This person has been a coach, a race course setter for boys and girls ski teams who have won several state championships over the years. His passion for the sport has led him to become a level 2 ski instructor and coach through the Canadian Ski Federation. Okay.
He even knows it.
Danny Valancourt, where are you? Hold it, I'm not done yet. Stay there, Dan, unless you want to come up here. Stay there. Couple more things about Danny. Dan has served on the Northern Maine Medical Center Board of Trustees since 1995. That, my friends, involves a huge commitment of time and energy. Meeting monthly at regular board meetings that can last 3 to 4 hours. Not to mention time spent on various committees, which also meet monthly. He was board chair from 2001 to 2004, and again in 2011. So again, more time commitment in meeting preparation and several one-on-one meetings with Northern Maine Medical Center CEO and senior management. In today's healthcare environment, we are truly blessed to have the hospital we have. Not only is the hospital our largest employer, but is a huge economic driver for our community. And we are extremely fortunate to enjoy the top quality health care for which Northern Maine Medical Center has received several safety and quality of care awards. Not easy to attain such status, and a true testament to the leadership of the volunteer board members like Dan, Northern Maine Medical Center's management team, and its outstanding employees. Is that okay, Pete? Dan is the president of Daigle Oil Company, and in that capacity, along with CEO Rick Daigle, they provide 200+ jobs in the valley. Recently, the company was sold to its employees and demonstrates their appreciation and thanks to their dedicated staff. On a more personal note, Dan is a passionate outdoor enthusiast. He's a registered Maine master guide. He and I are partners in a hunting camp and get along most of the time. Just as long as I do what he says, I'm okay. He enjoys hunting, fishing, canoeing, camping, skiing, mountain biking, hiking, and snowshoeing. And speaking of snowshoeing, it's my understanding that he and Roland have developed a series of snowshoe trails near their home. Apparently, they are used exclusively by a group of women, with the exception of Dan. How did that happen? Dan's dedication to his family is paramount. He and Roland have been married for 36 years. Many of you know their adult children, Cassie and Carter, and Cassie's husband, Nate. Whether it was at the lake, on the slopes, on the Allagash or St. John Rivers, or at church, they always went as a family. Well done. It is with great pleasure that I give you the 2018 Greater Fort Kent Citizen of the Year, Dan Valancourt. This plaque is presented to Dan. It reads, 2018 Greater Fort Kent Area Chamber of Commerce Citizenship Award presented to Dan Valancourt in recognition of his outstanding contributions of time, talent, and effort for the welfare of our area communities. Congratulations, Dan.
I'm not sure where to start, but I just want to thank the Chamber and thank the community of Fort Kent for being what it is. You know, we're a community of 4,500 people, and we have a world-class biathlon, cross-country facility, great downhill ski facility, some of the best snowmobile trails in the world, great golf course, fantastic hospital, the University of Maine, Fort Kent. Take a look around the country and try to find a community this size that has all of that. And it's because of all of you. There's so many more people in this town that deserve this more than me. And I don't know what to say other than that, but we're very, very lucky to have the community that we have. We're lucky to have people like you. And there's many more that came before me, and there are going to be a lot after, and like I said, a lot more that deserve this a lot more than me. Thank you very much.
Not getting away that easy.
We got a few more for you. Maine legislative sentiments are significant expressions of the sense of the legislature. They are a public declaration that honors a personal achievement. At this time, I would like to invite John and Troy to come forward and present the Maine legislative sentiments.
Thank you very much. First of all, I must say congratulations to everyone tonight. Been a great evening, and to all the winners, thank you. You all deserve it. I must admit, getting to do this every year is getting more difficult because of the internet and all of that information, and now what I have to do is to hide. Yesterday, I got a phone call. Someone from Fort Kent wanted to know how come it wasn't posted on the legislative record yesterday. Because, of course, they could have seen what it was. It actually will appear on Tuesday, because anyone could have gotten to the internet and found out the name. Yesterday, last evening, I got a phone call on the way home. They said, "We know you know because we know that you were told." I said, "It's not going to happen." So, but it is the legislative sentiment, and Troy and I put it in. I won't read everything that it says, but basically repeats what was said today, tonight for you. It is extremely well-deserved and fitting that you would receive the award from the legislature as well. So our congratulations to you, and on Tuesday you can read the legislative record and find it in the record, and I'll make sure that you have a copy of the register. Troy?
Well, real quickly, I mean, there's not much more that can be said about the award, but I did want to thank everyone. Congratulations that won tonight. It really is a great group of people, as is this community. I was at Sunday River last night for the statewide chamber, and you hear people from all around the state talking about St. John Valley and the people in it, and much like Matt said, you know, the people really believe that the St. John Valley is a great place, and for me, it's a real honor to represent this area because I do it here all the time, and certainly because of the award winners and because of people like Dan is why we have such a great reputation. So more than anything, Dan, I want to thank you for what you do for not only the people of this community, but the people of this state. Thank you very much, sir.
The Chamber would like to extend a special thank you to Susan Tardy of the University of Maine at Fort Kent for the compilation of the annual report, Christina Bollier of the Fort Kent Historical Society, and Paul Sear for the photos that are used in the annual booklet, and Andrew Burden of the Fiddlehead Focus / St. John Valley Times for the scrolling enjoyment on the overhead projector that was viewed earlier this evening. A big thank you goes out to our keynote speaker and my only interviewer, Matt McCadden. Congratulations to Connie and the board of directors, and congratulations again to all of tonight's award winners. Jen, thank you for your assistance earlier this evening. To all that came out and attended, I hope you all have a wonderful evening and a safe trip home. Good night.